Alright, what is going on YouTube? BackSlash coming at you with another YouTube video. This is the third on my channel. Today we are going over Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 2. So Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 2 serves as the sort of this second, or I guess it's the third volume technically of Jujutsu Kaisen, and it introduces a lot of characters to the story, along with continuing on some arcs and continuing to build up the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. It has been animated. I think it's probably, I want to say it's episodes like 4 and 5 maybe. I'm not entirely sure on that, but it's the early part of the first season of the anime, so you can go ahead and watch that. And along with that, before we jump into this, I want to note that this is going to be a relatively spoiler-free review or overview, as you know, I just want to showcase what you're getting into if you decide to go ahead and buy this volume of the manga. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, first things first, in terms of cover art, I think this is probably my least favorite out of the 3 that we've looked at so far. I think Megumi looks pretty cool. He's got pretty cool looking hair, but I just don't really like the Shikigami that he's got. It just doesn't look all that cool. I think his wolves would have been maybe a cooler artistic decision, but it is what it is. You know, you're probably gonna have it facing the spine, so you know, like, you wouldn't have it open necessarily. You'd have it facing the spine on a bookshelf, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Just gonna go ahead and rate it like a 6.5 out of 10. I think they could have done better with this specific cover of the volume. Diving into the characters and the plot. So the beginning of this volume actually continues on the Fearsome Womb arc. We get to see how much of a villain Sukuna really is, and the story continues to develop things like domain expansions and other things of that nature, along with developing and establishing the deal that Sukuna and Yuji make that is super instrumental to the story later on. Along with this, we get to see Megumi fight Sukuna at the end of the Fearsome Womb arc, and it doesn't really go all that well. But it's I think this arc, the Fearsome Womb arc, is a really good introduction to the world of Jujutsu Kaisen and kind of the whole darkness of the story. After the end of the Fearsome Womb arc, we're introduced to Toge, Panda, and Maki. They discuss, you know, the events that happen with the Fearsome Womb arc with Megumi and Nobara. Along with that, we are introduced to Shoko, who is the Jujutsu High Doctor. On top of that, we're introduced to Ijichi, who is a driver, and he's like the assistant principal or like the vice principal of the school, or he does something with the administration. On top of that, we're introduced to some more minor antagonists in this. Well, they seem like minor antagonists, but they play a large role in the story later on, who in Kenjaku, Jogo, and then also Hanami. We get to see them meet up, and we get to see Jogo, especially early on, kind of his potential and his firepower as a special, I believe he's a special grade cursed spirit. They talk about trying to trap Gojo in a prison realm, and we kind of get that idea introduced into the story here. Along with that, we get to see Yuji try and master cursed energy, which is a really funny little side plot. On top of that, this volume does feature a fight versus Gojo and Jogo, which is really cool. I definitely think you guys should go ahead and watch the anime for that. I think it's animated beautifully, along with getting to see both Gojo and Jogo's domain expansions, which is absolutely like one of the better scenes in the anime. I would say it looks phenomenal. So I definitely recommend going and watching where these chapters are animated. You can go watch that on Crunchyroll, or I think Hulu also has it probably. So it's, you know, it's available. So that's pretty much the breakdown of the characters and the plot of this without getting into too many spoilers. You know, just kind of introduction of the characters and like who all you meet if you are going to buy this volume. Bang for your buck. I think that this volume is actually one of the best bang for your bucks that you can get with a series, especially this early on in the story. We're only on the second volume, which is technically the third overall book that they have, because we have volume 0. Remember, it's a prequel. On Amazon, you can get this for $7.68. At Barnes & Noble, you can get it for $9.99. This specific volume features 9 total chapters, so it covers a lot of ground. You go from chapter 8 to 16, so counting 8, you have 9 total chapters. I think that for as cheap as it is, if you're interested in the story, picking up 0, 1, and 2, you can get them all for like under $25, I want to say, which is like a steal, especially for a story that is this good. Once you start reading it, you're gonna get hooked. It's a very good story, so I definitely recommend going ahead and picking it up. It features 192 total pages, which is close to Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 0, which they made into a movie, which kind of gives you an idea of length. It's not going to take you an insanely long time to read, but they do, you know, make a couple episodes out of it in the anime, and I think this is definitely one of the better volumes that you can actually read. It introduces a lot of really cool stuff. You get introduced to really cool characters. So I think this is definitely one of the better reads earlier on in the series for sure. So for an overall rating, I'm going to rate this a 9 out of 10. I think it's one of the better starts to a series, especially, again, this early on, having this much content, and then, you know, just like so much of the story progresses in this specific volume between chapters 8 and 16. So I think it's definitely worth picking up. So there you guys have it. That is a quick and brief overview of Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 2. Plan on doing this for all of them, as I previously mentioned. I plan on doing some other stuff as well. I'm kind of looking at some maybe really short mangas to read and then make a video on. So if you guys see me wearing the same outfit with the same crazy ass hair, you know that it was a busy day for me. But there we go. I love you all. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.